I'm in the piss zone already, ladies and gentlemen. Jeez, what is going on? How are we doing today? All right, I got to check something. Oh yeah, okay, all right, okay. Hold up. Because my my mic last time was peaking. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why it all of a sudden was peaking. So I have to like readjust it right now. I'm hoping everything's all good. I'm hoping you're not getting that type of noise when somebody talks too loud, you know. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. And in fact, you know what? I'll turn it down just a little bit more just to be absolutely positively sure, you know. But how are we all doing today, ladies and gentlemen? We doing okay? I sure hope we're doing okay. I hope we're always doing okay. I'm doing fine, you know. Not a, I didn't have a bad day. I had a pretty good day, all things considered, you know. Um, it just is what it is. We do what we can. We do what we have to do, you know, and that's all we can do is whatever we can and whatever we have to do. But I'm sitting here just talking nonsense. I'm talking nonsense that does make sense, you know. Excuse me. What's going on, Jack Torrance? Happy Monday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy Monday. Um, I'm especially happy because I'm starting to work out again. I have some time this summer where I'm not going to be like completely and totally bogged down by all these people who just want to suck the life force out of me, who want to suck me dry, right? They want to suck me. I'm not going to be surrounded by all these people, or not as many people, excuse me. And because of that, I'm going to be able to work out more. So it feels good. You know, I'm a little greasy right now. It's because I worked out a little bit before this. And it's like today it wasn't anything too serious or anything like that. To tell you the truth, I did like some kettlebell work, jumping jacks, stuff like that. Like the type of stuff that I would usually make fun of somebody for doing, honestly. The type of stuff that like you would see a girl at a gym do because she is more interested in like trying to show off her ass or her outfit or something like that than actually like trying to work out for real. But I'm so desperate for a workout that I'm at a point where it's like whatever, jumping jacks, kettlebells, fucking. I did some. I'm pretty sure these are flies, right? I think these are flies. I could be wrong. No, fuck. I don't even remember. I have to rehab my back. I have to rehab a neck and back injury, so I got to do a lot of these, you know, with the dumbbells and stuff like that. But you know, I'm starting to put it together, and I'm feeling happy about that. I'm feeling real good about that, you know. Um, I use a limiter when I'm producing, but I don't know if there's a stream version of a limiter. I don't know if yeah, I mean, hey, I don't know. Maybe something like that would work out, you know. I just don't want like, and that's the crazy thing is it seemed to come out of nowhere. Actually, hold on. Testing. I think I may have actually potentially helped out at least a little bit with something. I think something on my I forget what this thing's even called. That's how little I know about technology and stuff like that. I couldn't tell you the first thing about anything, right? But the box, right? I think something I must have moved it, right? It must have got moved around or something like that. And sorry, you know, it must have got moved around or something like that. And because of that, you know, like my shit's peaking now, you know. Another thing I could do, I guess, is move my microphone a little bit further away. That actually wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if my microphone was further away, because I mean, I would assume you guys can hear me fine right now. And then in addition to that, I actually have the space I need to do what I got to do. So maybe this is a blessing in disguise. I don't know. But regardless, thank you guys for being here. All right. First things first. All right. What everybody wants to know about Fish Tank 2.5. I don't know as much about it as, say, Jet or Ben, obviously, or anything like that. But what I do know is it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be stupendous. I did get to see the sandbox, if that's what you want to call it. I did get to see the sandbox, and it is going to be pretty damn good, right? It's gonna be pretty damn good. It's gonna be pretty damn cool, and you guys are gonna enjoy it. And you know, they're postponing it until June 25th. That sucks, but it's not going to be for no reason, and it will be that much better because of the extra month or so, right? In fact, what is it? What is it? May 20th now? I don't know why. May 20th, I feel like it's supposed to be significant to me. Like, the date May 20th, like, something had to have happened on May 20th, like, however many years ago or something like that. That had to have been the case, but I'm just forgetting what it is. When I saw it was May 20th, I was like, oh, really? It's May 20th? Huh. But yeah. So yeah, we have a month and 5 days until 2.5, and that month and 5 days is going to be spent very wisely. I can see all the stuff that they're trying to do, and it's going to be really good. And if I can help out with that, I definitely will. I've been a little bit busy lately. I'm kind of in that. I'm in a bit of a transitional phase, right? And I'm not going to get too deep into what I mean by that, but I'm in a bit of a transitional phase right now, and because of that. I'm kind of having to deal with a bunch of stuff, but whenever I can get down there, I'm definitely going to get down there to help out, because it's Fish Tank. It's a project I believe in, right? No, like I love Fish Tank, man, and that's not just because I'm in it. It's because it's a really cool and ambitious project, and I want to be a part of, and I want to be around cool and ambitious shit. So like anything I can do to help, like I'm down, And that's the attitude of everybody that I've seen who's helped out. Richie99, he's he's doing really good work for them. There's like tons of different people doing really good work for them, and they have a really great team. Umlau says, "Hey Scott, Mono Man here. Thanks for always posting your link." Hey man, thanks for coming in. Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate you being here. That's why I post the links, is because I want more people to jump into my stuff. It seems obvious, right? But I want you guys to jump in because it makes it more fun for me personally. I like it when there's like new people and even old people, but I like when there's people in here. That's why I do these streams, just so that I can talk to you guys. Considering they moved it back to June 25th, how complete do you think the set is right now? I mean, I would say the set is probably like 60 to 70% done, given what I know about it. Now, I could be wrong. There could be things that I'm not considering, right? There might be things that I don't even know about. In fact, there's definitely things that I don't know about, right? They gave me a quick walkthrough. It's not like they got every nook and cranny and told me every little thing about the entirety of it, right? I'm sure there's things set-wise that are not like 100% completed, and maybe they were like, hey, it'd be nice if we didn't have to rush to complete this, but from what I did see, there was a lot of good stuff. It was really coming together when I went down there. This is like, I want to say a week ago. Yeah, actually like a week and a day ago, now that I think of it. I think what it is, my dinner's on my beard. Jeez. What I think it really was is probably technical stuff. And they said that, right? They want to make sure the technical stuff is good to go. Excuse me. They want to make sure that they're not gonna they're season 2, right? Part of it was that the weather was dog shit. The weather was so bad for the start of season 2, right? That it made they had a server, right? Fucking like everything was just fucked. Everything was just fucked up, right? I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure that like there won't be any weird shit on the back end this time, right? Especially because this is going to be such an ambitious project on their end that they want to make absolutely positively sure that they are like, that they're like good, that they're squared away. They don't want like they don't want the site freezing up. They don't want cameras not working. They don't want other weird shit like that. Especially because like it's 2 weeks of living outside. If I was, I'm trying to remember who they've announced and who they haven't announced yet. I'm not even gonna say, but like, if I was one of the people who was actually living outside and I figured out that I was living outside for 2 weeks and it wasn't even content, that the cameras were fucked, they were down, and there was like an hour or two of footage at a time, but every cool thing I did, all of the fun stuff that I did, all the stuff that was gonna like be good for the show, none of it got picked up because there was camera work. I'd probably walk off into the woods and you guys would never see me emerge. I would not come back. I'd be like living like Mountain Man, or B, one day a hiker would find a corpse. It'd be a skeleton with just red hair on it. It'd just be a skeleton with red hair. The worms didn't eat my hair. You know, that's what would end up happening if I spent 2 weeks just living in the woods and I was like, yo, like, and they told me like, yo, sorry, bro, all your best shit got cut out. Not because we wanted to cut it, but because the cameras didn't work. I'd be like, fuck, dude. What's it called? I saw somebody. Oh yeah, Jack Torrance says I can't get my credit card to work on Streamlabs or PayPal. Hey man, if you send me your info, I'll try it for you. You know, just send me the card number. You know, the security code. Jokes aside, that was a little bit of lore about the stream on Friday. I was trying to get them all on StreamYard, right? And StreamYard, the free version, only allows 6 people to be on total at a time, right? So I had to pay for the, I had to pay for the paid version. And when I did that, I'm sitting here, and I ended up reading my card number out loud. So everybody heard my card number. And, like, I think the last 4 numbers, I was like, wait a second, I'm reading this out loud right now, and they all had a bit of a chuckle, you know. And then I was like, shit, all right, whatever, fucking, you know. I mean, I know. What's Josie's gonna steal my card, and she's gonna have like mad cool shit, and people are gonna be like, wow, where'd you get that? The internet. And I'm gonna be like running around like, fuck, where's all my money? Where's all my money? I remember Josie was just lugging buckets of water for like half an hour before anything else happened on season 2. Yeah, that couldn't have been timed. I'm gonna move this even further away because I'm so afraid of. Let me know if my audio is peaking, okay? Because I will try and do something about that because I don't want my audio to be peaking for the entire stream. That was so like annoying, you know. That was so annoying when I because I have a few videos from the last stream that I did where the audio is peaking, and even though I tried to fix it in post, you know, if you want to call it post, it sounds so bad, you know, and I hate it. I'm not like an audiophile. Oh, we're in the piss zone right now. I'm not an audiophile or anything like that. But as I've done this more and more, shitty audio has started to get on my nerves. Just a wee bit, just a little bit, you know. Can I? Yeah. Hold up. Wait a second. What the hell's going on here? Ah, you bastard. Trying to plug my light in. I have a power strip and it's like annoying. I don't like technology, bro. Jeez. All right. Well, I guess we're good now. I'll turn that inward a little bit. But season 2 made me want to move to snowier areas and drink more milk. You don't want to live around the snow, dude. Trust me, you don't want to live around the snow. You know, the Scott Squash. That's what they're gonna call me when I run off into the woods. Need wild boars for 2.5. That would be pretty cool. I like you're repping the crucifix behind you. Yeah, you know, it's not just a Christian thing. It's also what I'm calling an heirloom because my great grandmother gave it to my grandfather, and then when my grandfather died, I don't think it's that nobody in my house wanted it. I think it's that everybody knew I would probably appreciate it, you know, the most. So they offered it to me. You know, it actually says on the back like to son from mom. You know, so that's pretty cool. You know. excuse me, commies over at the yard. What's your birth date? First elementary school. Thank you, Jack. I mean, look, like, if I appreciate the sentiment, right? You're trying to send me money. I appreciate that. If it doesn't work out, it's all good. I'm only gonna be mad for a little bit. All right, I'll get over it eventually. It'll be all right. It'll be all good. Yo, throw a left hook real quick. Why? Like, are you gonna try and judge my form? Right? That's how I would throw a left hook if you were in front of me right now. Oh man. Oh. Jack Torrance tipped $10. Thank you, man. Thank you. I expected you. Oh, it's Huh, that's weird. Why did it do it twice? It's no big deal that it did it twice, but actually it is. I'm angry now. I'm angry that it did it twice. No, but thank you very much, Jack. I appreciate the hell out of that. You could have said something though. You could have said like even just hi. I feel bad when people send me money and there's no note attached. I feel like you're not getting your money's worth. Or the closest thing to getting your money's worth. You wouldn't do nothing, dude. I was like, don't get me wrong. I'm not like angry as shit, right? But I was getting gas earlier. I'm on my way home from the gym. I just taught a class, and I'm on this gas station that's on this like state highway type deal, right? It's not like a highway, but it's one of those like main roads in your state that goes from like one side of the state to the other. And this car pulls up, and this chick is like screaming. She's just like, oh, and like naturally I look up and I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell is that? And like as I look up, her and like the three other people in the car look at me, and I'm just like, oh, okay, it's just some chick. So I go back to pumping my gas, and I just hear like, hey, oh, ah. And then she called me the gingerbread man. And like, I'm not like it's never a good thing to start fights with people, right? But it's really hard not to. It's really hard not to. Especially when it's some stupid bitch too, because it's like, oh, all right, so like fucking you're like you are nothing and you're trying to start shit with me, right? But one of the best things you can do in a situation like that is literally just ignore the person. Like, just straight up don't even answer them. Because what happens is what exactly happened. Where she's like, oh, Mr. Gingerbread Man. And I'm like, just pumping my gas, not looking. And she's like, hey, I'm talking to you. And I just keep on pumping my gas. Like, not even doing a, like, thing. Literally just, like, looking at the fucking gas meter. Except it's up here. It's not down there. I'm looking at the gas meter, like this. And she just increasingly gets louder and more obnoxious and, like, angry. She's like, hey! Hey! That's, like, literally the best thing you can do in a situation like that. And the thing is, though, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good having to do that. Being the bigger man and being smart about things doesn't feel good. And that's why so many people are foolish, is because... just moving that out of the way. I think that's part of the reason why so many people are so stupid, is because, like, they can't deal with doing things that don't feel good, Like, yeah, legit, I hop in the car and, like, I start seething. I'm like... No, like, I hop in the car and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, dude, I should have looked up and, like, told her to, like, pull over. And if there's a guy in the car, get out, I should have been like, yo, is there a man in that car? Pull over and have him get out. Like, that's what was going through my head after the fact. And I'm like, yeah, I should have did that. And it's like, no, I shouldn't have. That would have been, like, such a bad idea. And the thing is, it's not like I'm, like, afraid that I'm going to get hurt, right? It's more that I'm just like, yeah, that's not worth it. It's not good to get arrested for that type of shit, because that's what would have happened. It's a gas station at broad daylight. There's at least 50 people around, and some dude's going to pull over, and he's going to hop out, and I'm going to fuck him up. There's probably going to be people filming it. Yeah, that's just what I need, right? It's just so, it's tough to deal with that kind of thing, though, because, it's like psychic vampire type shit that people try to pull. I have way too many people trying to hit me up about shit right now. Holy fuck! I gotta put my shit on silent. That is crazy. Anyway, with that said, that happened to me today. It's pretty annoying. Not gonna lie, pretty fucking annoying. Funniest woman on the planet. Yeah, exactly. Funniest, most original woman on the planet. Fucking. It's from one ginger to another. How many times have you been called Ed Sheeran? There was one time by some like kids, and it's like I just kind of laughed at it because it was the first time that it had ever happened to me, and I just like I was caught so off guard by it. I was like, ha, But the thing is, I'm a scary ginger. I'm not like a dweeb ginger, which I'm actually going to talk about that in a second. I'm not a dweeby ginger. I'm a scary ginger. So like people. It ain't high school anymore, People aren't trying to like start shit with me because they think that like it'll elevate them. People see me in public, they don't want anything to do with me, I literally had someone at my work the other day, right? I was like, I made a reference to the fact that I'm fucking scary looking, that I look angry and shit like that. And I was like, yeah, like, this person was probably, a little bit on edge because, I'm like I have like a mean look on my face. And this chick, she's like a supervisor, but she's chill. She's like, yeah. She just straight up was like, yeah. Even my wife, baby, when you saw me on, oh, you couldn't even hear me. When you saw me on the website for the first time, what did you think about like how I looked?
You look mysterious.
I'm mysterious. I'm mysterious, boys. No, but like you told me I looked very serious, and I think that was your polite way of saying I looked like I was ready to like jump through the screen and grab you by the throat.
Yeah, you look very serious.
Yeah. Fucking. So like people don't typically fuck with me, and that's like the number one piece of self-defense advice that I could give you, other than the cop out that everybody gives, which is don't be there, run, right? Obviously, all right. Not being where trouble starts and running away, fleeing the scene. Yeah, those are two solid things that you should be doing, and you should definitely 100% like always opt for them if you can. And with that said, we don't even have to bring that up when it comes to self-defense, because that's how elementary it is, that we all understand you should be trying to run whenever you can. But now that we've gotten that out of the way and the adults are talking, not the idiots who want to sound like they know shit, right? One of the best bits of self-defense advice I could give you is to like not look like a bitch. Genuinely, don't look like a pussy. You don't even have to look like me. You don't have to look like you're ready to go at a moment's notice, right? You just look like you would be more trouble than you're worth. And you can look like that at any height, any gender, any whatever, right? Any of the 1,000 gingers, any of the 1,000 gingers there are. No, but like regardless of whatever gender you are, you can look like you're more trouble than you're worth. It's just that's going to be a little bit different, right? It's going to be a bit different. Me personally, I look like I'll fight, and I look like I could win, right? I look like even if somebody was like confident that they could kick my ass, they would probably not think that I'm going to go down easy, right? If I was to give my wife advice, I would tell her to look like she's not just gonna freeze up, get like big doe eyes and be like, oh, okay, don't, please, right? I would tell her, look like you would at the very least scream. Because people who are trying to victimize others, they're not looking for a fight. They're not looking for a challenge. They want the easiest victim that they can find. And if you don't look like an easy victim, there's a like 9 out of 10 chance they're not going to pick you at all, ever, for anything, right? You would get picked last by the predator during dodgeball. All right, team selection. All right, that's what would happen. What was I going to say? Have I ever seen African Dambe knockouts? Yeah, I've seen them. They're interesting. It's funny that there's a lot of people who It's funny that there's a lot of people who want to act like Dambe is some kind of like big, like it's a robust martial art and shit like that. When in reality, it's just two guys who put rope on their hands and started throwing. There's a little bit of I'm sure there's a little bit of strategy to it, and you can see that strategy a little bit. Don't get me wrong, right? The exact kind of strategy you see in boxing all the time. Fade back and fire off, right? And then there's some other stuff too, but it's not. It's interesting to watch for all of like 2 minutes, and then you're like, all right, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I've seen one. I've seen it all. Right? What's it called? Road rage is a no-sum game, dude. You could kill someone, get arrested, or do something you regret. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Right? That's what I'm saying. And that's why, even though it was tough for me earlier, I know that I made the right choice by just like not even keeping my head down, just keeping my head facing away from this chick. It's just tough. The ego takes a bruising, but the ego isn't even fucking real in the first place, but it feels real. So you're kind of in that, back and forth. But, what was I going to say? Jack Torrance said, nah, man, just wanted to say thank you for being so supportive and kind to people, letting me rant about my insanity in your Discord. Hey, man, and anytime, dude. Anytime, What's it called? Somebody called it, Cheddar Swiss called it a live PD incident. Yeah. That very well could have been. Oh, man. But yeah, we're going to go ahead. I'm hoping, what's his face? Dillhole Danis. Dillhole Danis has a I'm hoping he has I'm hoping he has this on yes, okay, he does. All right, we're good to go. Desktop audio. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take a look at this, and then we're gonna take a look at something else. And in fact, I gotta put it down so that I don't forget what it is, because I want to make sure I don't forget about it, right? Because this is something I want to rant about. It's one of those autistic lines of thought that I had where I'm like, oh, all right. So as we can see here, this this white devil is accosting this young lawyer, right? We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take a look at it, and yeah, it should be all good.
If I say stop, you gotta stop.
Cock your head back, little nigga.
World star. Damn.
Ready?
You see, like, I made a video, I want to say probably about a month ago, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more. It was a video where I said to stop raising dweebs, and wow, I am really small right now. Anyway, the video was about not raising dweebs, not raising booger guys and things like that, right? And unfortunately for this young kid right here, I'm going to have to use him as an example. I'm not doing it to try and like denigrate him in any way, shape, or form. He is a victim of a crime right now. He is a victim of assault and battery. It is, it's unfortunate, right? You can't raise dweebs because people will end up taking advantage of your kids, and this type of stuff will happen. Now, we're going to go ahead, we're going to go back to the beginning, right? And I want you to listen to this right now, right?
Ready?
If
I say stop, you gotta
Cock
stop.
your head back, little nigga.
World star. Damn.
So he ends up saying something like, I'm going to try and get out, but if I say stop, you stop, right? I don't believe this was anything other than this guy going after him, and then this kid was like, oh, hey, let's try and save my ego a little bit by trying to make it into a game, right? This dude right here, he looks like he's at least like 17 or 18 years old. This kid's probably 14, 15, right? Not a very mature 14, 15 years old. and he's being taken advantage of by this older and like more developed kid, and it's just disgusting, and that's something you'll see from like dweebish people and stuff like that, is they'll try and act like they're in on the joke when really they are the joke, and it is annoying to see. It sucks to see, and of course if you go to the comments specifically on Instagram, it's a bunch of doctors and lawyers trying to be like, oh well, it's okay because slavery, like literally that's what you're seeing. And I'm not going to sit here and get too deep into any implications of that type, right? But it's just interesting to see that kind of thing. This is a kid who this kid right here, if he even is a kid, right? I'm calling him a kid just out of charity at this point, right? He looks like a young man. He looks like, again, he's like 17, 18, maybe even 19 years old. He ended up deciding he was going to fuck with this kid, and this kid is now trying to sit there and be like, oh, haha, it's okay, guys, it's totally cool, everything's fine. He wouldn't have done that to anybody who actually looked like they would have fought back. He would not have done that kind of thing. It wouldn't have occurred, right? And this is just the type of thing that happens when you don't allow your kids to actually defend themselves, when you don't teach your kids how to defend themselves and things like that. And that's a world we're living in today, where there's a lot of kids who, you see, there's one subset of the population that they're told violence is bad no matter what, and it's never the answer. And if there's somebody being violent, well, go run and get a teacher or a police officer or whoever, right? But we try, or we, like the people who aren't predators, right? We try our best to not have to resort to fighting people like that who are predators. And what ends up happening is when we go to the police, we're told, whatever, whatever, right? It's insane the way cops and teachers act about that stuff too. They act like you're the asshole for trying to avoid like a fight. And I would even say it's at a point now where it's like, why would you even go to a cop? Why would you even go to a teacher? Of course, I'm not telling you to be violent, right? And I'm not telling you to circumvent the cops or a teacher, but like, I could understand somebody who is like, why would I even bother with those people? Because when I go to the cops, they're going to act like I'm an asshole for trying to avoid a fight. When I go to a teacher, they're going to be like, yeah, whatever, right? There's a subset of the population who they were taught that violence is never the answer, even in self-defense. Self-defense is violence, therefore violence is bad, self-defense bad, right? And then you have another subset of the population who they're told that violence is actually a good thing. It's a very valid way of getting what you want. And on top of that, when they are violent, they aren't punished. This kid's not going to be punished. He's not going to be punished for it. I've seen it time and time again where like you have a situation where somebody does something that could be life-threatening, which this is, it's borderline, right? I don't think this kid is actually trained in jiu-jitsu or anything like that. He probably just got very, maybe not lucky, but he made the right decision at the right time to hopefully not end up hurting this kid, right? Because when you get choked out, chances are you are just going to wake up and everything's going to be fine. But you also don't just want to get choked out for the sake of it, right? That's not good, right? Getting choked out is not the exact same thing as getting knocked out, but there is a similar aspect to it where it's like you probably shouldn't deprive your brain of oxygen repeatedly just for the sake of it, right? But again, there's a subset of the population that they are violent and they don't get punished for it. And we are still raising kids to think that it's a good idea to try and get those people punished for it, even though they don't get punished for it. They never do. And any attempt to even try to get them to serve any kind of sentence for it, quote unquote, any attempt to even try to exact justice, to have justice served in a situation like that, well, you're looked at as though you're the asshole, right? the world we live in is not fair. It has never been fair, but there have been times where I feel it probably has been more fair than what we're living in now. We're probably living in one of the most unfair times in history when it comes down to it, because just the way the ego is pushed today, the way religion is bashed today, specifically Christianity. You can be anything other than a Christian and it's totally fine, but you still got to be very careful. But the second you're a Christian, you get shit on all the time, you know? And we live in a world where if you are a predator, you are rewarded for it, and sometimes like straight up, like in a legitimate way. And we got kids like this who are walking around, and well, that's what happens, you know. They end up getting taken advantage of, and then they end up you know, having that video posted on the internet and stuff like that. You know, that's another very important thing, right? And that's something that I'm trying to make sure. Like I have this conversation with my wife all the time. Is like, we gotta allow our kids to fight back, you know. Our kids get in trouble at school, we're not going in there and being like, what did you do, Junior? We're going in there and being like, why are you telling my boy he's in trouble? Shut the fuck up. You know, teachers are losers. Principals are losers. Like, genuinely. Teachers and principals are losers, and you should not respect them. Like, for real. You know? They're ridiculous. They're stupid as hell. Don't respect them. Pay cuts for teachers. Legit, bro. No, but like, half jokes aside, fucking, I'm not going to allow my kid to grow up that way, right? Now, like, it's real easy for me to say that, because as soon as my kids are born, I'm going to be like, all right, here's your singlet, son. Wrestling practice starts tomorrow, right? It's going to be real easy for me to be like, yeah, my kid, it couldn't be my kid, right? But even if it wasn't, I wouldn't want my kids to go through what I had to go through as a kid who had helicopter parents who were like, no, violence is never the answer. Oh, they're hitting you? Well, you don't hit them. Run and grab a teacher, and then you do that, and the teacher doesn't do anything, right? I don't want my kids to have to live through that, you know? Me, I stopped giving a shit halfway through, and I was like, fuck it, I guess I'll just get in trouble, you know? But it would have been nicer if I had my parents to back me through those things. And I'm definitely going to make sure that I have my kids' backs. And even if you can't teach your kids to fight in the way that I can, for one thing, you can find somebody who can teach them to fight. But then in addition to that, you can at the very least, like when they get into a fight at the lunch table and it comes time to pick them up and the principal wants to talk to you like he's the arbiter of what is right and wrong, right? Fucking, you can be like, nah, fuck off. Fuck you. Don't ever call me with this bullshit again. I'm getting a lawyer. Do you know how scared of lawsuits principals and fucking superintendents are, dude? You find a lawyer, pay him $200, say, I just need a 10-minute phone call, just call him up and be like, look, if this continues, I'm going to have to take action. And see how quick everything fucking changes. See how quick everything becomes different regarding your child. I've seen it happen. I have seen that shit happen. You know? Teachers are just, they're trying to get through their day just like everybody else is. But the difference between them and me and you and everybody else is that, like, us getting through our day is like just trying to make sure that we don't get shit on and we don't get hurt and we don't get like you know, we're just trying to make it through our day as like a cashier at a grocery store, right? Nothing world ending if we don't do our best, right? But teachers, they take a job where you are supposed to be altruistic. You're supposed to be I think altruistic is the only word that I was really trying to think of there. But you're supposed to be altruistic, and you're supposed to be in it for the love of the game. You're supposed to be in it to help mold young minds and shit like that. You're supposed to be in it to do the right thing. And you have all these teachers who they bring this I just want to get through the day kind of attitude to it, and it's like disgusting, you know. I was actually at a family function with some extended family members, and my cousin, right? This dude is like if you could think of like a Reagan Republican, like a Reaganite type Republican, this is him, right? Clean cut, wears like a business casual type shit, or he's kind of like a boat shoes guy, right? If that makes sense. He's sitting here talking about his son, who is in like, I forget what grade he's in now, but he's in elementary school. He gets a call from the teacher, and the teacher's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know that Timmy, we think he has ADHD." And my cousin was really sitting there on the phone like, "All right, yeah." Like he literally sat there and was like, "All right, yeah, he probably does. What are you saying?" And the teacher was the teacher was trying to convince him to get him tested and then put on drugs. And he was like, "Yeah, he probably does have ADHD. Never call me again." And that was like I wanted to hug him when he did that. I wanted to give him the biggest fucking hug when he did that. Because for one thing, this kid doesn't need to be on medications, right? Medications fuck people up, you know. But then two, he told the teacher, "Hey, eat shit. Your life doesn't need to be that easy. Thanks." All right. Fucking. Oh no. You there's a challenge. You are challenged at work. Oh, poor you. I guess that means my son needs mind-altering drugs. My son needs his personality to be changed around because you are having a hard time. Oh, man. You get him for 180 days and then you never see him again. And I'm supposed to put him on something that's going to affect him for the entirety of his life because fucking you're a bitch. Fuck off, you know? I was so happy when he said that shit, man. I was so happy when he said that shit. I was like, damn, good. Good for you, man. Hell yeah, you know? But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to read the chat a little bit more here. So did he just come up to the kid and put him in a choke, or did the kid, quote-unquote, agree to it? You see, he said something about trying to get out and that he would stop. Like he basically said, "I'll try to get out, but if I say stop, you have to stop." That doesn't seem... The thing is, it wasn't... Look at the body language, right? The dude's arm was already around his head. He's sitting there trying to stop the arms from going around his neck. And he almost seems like he's trying to basically, again, save his own ego by pretending he's in on the joke, right? It would basically be like if one of you guys ran up to me, right, and you tried to put me in a rear naked choke, and I tried to stop you, and then I realized, like, I'm probably not going to be able to stop this guy. If I try to fight too hard, there's a chance he's going to try and really hurt me. So maybe I should just, like, let him do it, you know, but try and add stipulations and things like that. Be like, okay, fine, you can do it, but, like, just I'm going to try and get out, and just stop when I say stop. That's what that seemed to be. It didn't seem like he was like, "Hey, dude, you know what'd be funny? If you tried to choke me and I could try to get out. Haha, that'd be fun. That'd be funny, right?" That's not what it seemed like. I'll be honest with you, right? What's going on, Gecko1528? How you doing, man? I had a teacher accuse me of having ADD, and my mom got me tested for it. Thankfully, they said I didn't have it. I probably do. LOL. ADD doesn't exist. ADHD doesn't exist. Bipolar doesn't exist. Autism doesn't exist. Like, none of it exists. It's not real, you know. What it is some shithead decided they wanted to try and think up an excuse or an explanation for differences in personality and things like that, right? What it really is there's some people who either were traumatized in a certain way, or they never learned to be well-adjusted individuals. They have antisocial personality traits that never were trained out of them as children. And because of that, we, instead of just being like, "Hey, that person is very poorly behaved, they're fucked up, they're bad news," instead of just doing that like we used to, we look at them and we say, "No, it's not your fault. You have bipolar disorder." When the reality is, anybody with bipolar disorder, like, what does that mean? They have trouble controlling their emotions. All right. fucking maybe they should try to control their emotions a little bit better. You think I'm always feeling great? I feel manic sometimes. I feel depressed sometimes. Not like depressed, but I feel deflated. I feel like I don't want to do anything, don't want to be around anybody. That is a natural part of life that literally everybody feels all the time. It's just that we don't constantly fucking talk about it, you know? Now, the key is when you feel that way, don't steer into it. When you feel manic, when you feel hyped up, when you feel high energy, you don't steer into it and end up doing something insane off of it. That's not what you do, right? Same thing with depression. When you're feeling run down, when you're like, dude, I don't want to get out of bed, you get out of bed anyway. It's like what they say, motivation is a lie, discipline is the only thing that really exists. And that is what it is. It's a lack of discipline in most cases, you know? And then there's other things that exist simply because, like, again, like trauma and things like that. You know, and this is something that the medical field, I've thought this for years. I've known this for years because I've been through the psych field. It's fucked up. It's a bad place, ladies and gentlemen. And I knew what it was for years, but finally the medical field is starting to catch up. Finally, they're just barely starting to catch up, right? It's ridiculous, you know. And it sucks growing up in that environment, you know. Like, I don't want to shit talk my parents too much, but like my mother was the driving force behind me being on all these medications that changed my physiology. I have gynecomastia now, literal like female breast tissue, because I was put on risperidone, right? Which is the generic version of Risperdal. Which, if you remember, probably 10 to 15 years ago, I would say, they were running commercials for a class action against the makers of Risperdal for gynecomastia. Fucking. Like, my mom, because my mom would look like I was actually, it's funny because I was watching a video by somebody who clipped one of Sam's early PGL episodes. It was actually with, I believe Weck was on it, if I remember correctly, Wecking Ball. I wish that dude would come back around. I love the hell out of that dude's stuff. I'd love to meet him too. But, anyway, like... fuck, I blanked. But I was watching, like, a podcast clip from PGL that somebody uploaded, and they were talking about that kind of thing, right? Fucking... And what it is that, like, teachers and parents want a little bit more peace and quiet at home. So instead of just giving their child, like, healthy outlets and things like that, or just telling them shut the hell up, they make them take medications that completely alter the way that they are. And that's what it was with my mother. She didn't like that I didn't want to put up with her, like, wacko shit. You know, her wackadoo bullshit. I was the one dude in the house who would be like, yo, that's fucking bullshit, Mom. What the hell is your problem? What are you talking about? You fucking... What? I was the one person in the house who would do that. Right? And because of that, my mother couldn't have that, so she put me on all these medications and shit like that, right? And everything's all cool between us now, you know, like, we're cool as cucumbers, you know, it's all good. I'm not, like, still angry about it, but I'm just being honest about, like, the reality of what these medication parents, if you want to call them, these psych field parents, I'm just being honest about, like, the reality of what it is. It's a teacher or a parent who is, like, a piece of shit and is like, well, I don't like that my son actually has, like, thoughts and opinions and feelings, and he isn't always quiet when he's at home, and he doesn't stay out of my way constantly. So, how about some fucking Adderall? How about some medical grade cocaine and methamphetamine? You know, how about some of that? And that's what happened with me is, like, literally any behavior that my mother did not like, she got me tested for. I used to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I'd leave the peanut butter out. And she believed, because of that, literally because of that, that is the one and only example that she gave when she brought me to the doctor. Because of that, she tried to say that I have ADHD, and she brought me, luckily, not to a psych field dickhead, but to my actual general practitioner. And he was like, look, Scott's mom, I think he's just a 14-year-old boy. I think that's what it is. I think 14-year-old boys leave the peanut butter out. I think that's just what happens. You know, I don't think he's got ADHD. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. In fact, I think he's just 14 years old. And she walked off, and you could tell she was disappointed. You know, because she wanted to get me on another fucking pill. I was taking, I think, like 750 milligrams of lithium at one point because my mother just was like a fucking terrorist. You know, if I'm being honest with you, it was like insane the way she was. The best thing I did for myself was get out of that house. But, you know, I don't want to talk too much about my mom, you know, right now. I didn't want to in the first place, but you got me going on medication and shit like that, and why I don't believe the psych field is even a little bit credible. Because it's not. It's just straight up fucking not. You know, it's bullshit, you know? The joke of clinical psychology was it was supposed to separate us from the magical thinking of psychoanalysis when it really was a codified form of the same bullshit. Exactly. You know? At the end of the day, the human mind is... The human mind is simultaneously very simple, but also very complex. And I know that sounds like stupid as hell, right? Like, oh, what? Fucking... You sound like you're trying to be deep, bro. But, like, it's complex insofar as, like, we don't 1,000% know what makes it tick. But if you look at behaviors and you trace them back, if you do some backtracking, like you do in algebra or something like that, you can still kind of understand certain things, right? You know? Like, I could tell you why I'm the way that I am, right? I'm sure you could tell me why you're the way that you are, and yet if I was a shithead, I would look at you and I'd be, like, trying to psychoanalyze you, right? I'd be trying to be some kind of clinical psychologist dickhead. And I'd be like, oh, this guy clearly has bipolar disorder. When in reality, you just never learned how to control yourself because nobody ever taught you the value of stoicism in a real way. And anyone who tried to teach you the value of stoicism was really just trying to take advantage of you. You know, they wanted you to sit down and shut up and allow them to abuse you. And you noticed that, and you were like, no, fuck that. So now you fly off the handle, right? You know, it's just stuff like that, you know? So putting me on pills, I remember walking in on my mother coming home from school and seeing her take 30 somas, shaking, drinking her coffee. So putting me on pills was no stretch for her. Yeah, and it's women that ushered in the hypermedication, because women, instead of just like learning how to put up with their emotions, which they're capable of doing, they may not be as stoic as men are, but they're perfectly capable of learning to cope with their emotions in a much more healthy way than you know, you would be led to believe, right? Instead of doing that, they'd rather just take a bunch of medication, and they think since it works for them, it doesn't, but they think it does. Since they think it works for them, they think it'll also work for everybody else. And then in addition to that, it's just a way for them to exert some kind of control over their environment, you know? Women can't control their environment in the way that men do, and because of that, they try and control their children in a way that is, like, disgustingly bad, you know? Women are the prime abusers of both men in relationships as well as children. That's something, like, if you're not a fool, you see that. It's just that when we think of abuse, we think of, like, cigarette burns, alcoholic dad, you know, beating women and children and things like that. But psychological abuse, I almost said medical abuse, jeez. Psychological abuse, mental abuse is abuse, right? And women are the prime executors of that abuse, right? And it's far more common as well. It's far more common because, again, it's a lot less noticeable than regular, like, or regular, you know, physical abuse, right? When somebody hits somebody, that's kind of a big fucking deal, and, like, someone will hit someone and then everything will stop, right? And it'll be like, whoa, holy shit. But when a woman is playing some fucked up mind game on her boyfriend or her son, usually her son, right? not saying daughters don't get mentally abused by mothers, but like it especially happens with sons. Nobody bats an eye. Excuse me, because it's all in the mental game that's being played. It's disgusting. That's hallucinatory levels. Yeah, I was knocked the fuck out in class. I was like, literally like, I liked Latin class. I enjoyed the hell out of Latin class. I had to drop out after year 2 because I failed it completely and totally. And it's because the pills I'm on, I'm just sitting here in class like that. And it just, I could have learned more Latin. I could speak Latin today. I liked it that much that I probably would be fluent in Latin. Granted, it's been about 10 years, probably would have lost quite a bit of it, but like I could have been really good at Latin by the time I was a senior in high school. And unfortunately, that didn't happen because mommy wanted peace and quiet at home instead of just fucking off, Because that's the other thing about women is that they can't just leave things alone, right? And this is partially where the abuse comes from is they can't just leave things alone and they can't just do what they're asked, right? There always has to be some kind of like poking and prodding and like rudeness and disrespect and things like that. That's how a lot of women, I'm not saying all, but that's how a lot of women are raised today. And, because of that, they sit here and they start fights. And when you're like, yo, fuck off, leave me alone, they're like, whoa, hey, medication now. That's literally the way that it is, and it's disgusting. The way it's again, I don't want to or maybe it was 250. It was like a gargantuan amount of like fucking lithium, Zachary. It was like way too much lithium. I used to get the pill bottles that were like that fucking tall and shit like that, It was disgusting, I remember going to parent-teacher conference and all my teachers but one were ragging on me for my behavior. My guitar teacher said I was the best in his class. My dad said I'd be the best in Nintendo class too, LOL. Yeah, I mean, the fact is nobody gives a shit about math class. Like, sorry teacher, I don't need to know sorry Mr. Teacher, I don't need to know the hypotenuse of a triangle. I'm all set. All right. I don't need to know how to take the volume of a cone. Right. I go to the ice cream shop. I get an ice cream cone. I've never been eating my ice cream cone thinking, I wonder how much ice cream could fit in this cone. I've never thought that. I've never had to fucking do that ever. No point. No point to it at all. So, like, yeah, sorry I'm not interested in your bullshit class that is not going to serve me for anything at all. When did you guys realize you're not bad at math? You just don't need to know how to graph equations. Me, it took me like 4 or 5 years to figure out that I'm actually not bad at math. It's just that graphing equations is fucking stupid as shit, and you don't need it for anything. And being bad at it is not a determining factor as to whether or not you're good at math or even just intelligent in the first place. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. It's insane. Migrating from Charles Stream. What's up, Scott? What's going on? Make me mad. Yeah, Charles's birthday was today. I hope he had a good birthday. Oh man. We've been discussing psychology and shop. And shit. Oh man, yeah. I'll read a couple more of these, and then we're gonna move on to the next one, right? Because I have a rant. I have another rant to go on that is like I don't even know what direction it's gonna go in. It's not like an angry rant like this one. It's just it's a rant. It's a rant. I think most women who work corporate jobs, at least on social media, are coked out on stimulants and SSRIs. Yeah, I mean, antipsychotic use, antidepressant use, just pill usage. Prescription pill usage in women over the age of 30 is up at least 500%. Like that's a statistic I learned pre-COVID. I think it was like 2017. 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. And there is no way it did not get worse. There is no way it did not get worse. The amount of women over 30 on antidepressants is definitely up. The amount of women who are on antidepressants who are pre-30 is, there's no way in hell it's not at least 1 in 4. At least 1 in 4. I would not believe you if you told me it was anything less than that. Like 110,000%, you know? There's so many fucking, like, just fucking drugged out, like, cracked out, crackpot, fucking basket case women out there that are just like, they're running around and they're just like, they're just ruining everyone and everything around them. And they're just like, oh my gosh, You know, they either A, do the fake humble thing where they're like, I'm a stupid bitch. Either that, or they're like, actually, all my exes were the problem. I've dated like 40 guys since I turned 17, and all of them were actually the problem. Not one of them was actually a good guy. Fucking, it's insane the amount of those women that are around, which is why, like, even though MGTOW is like cringe, especially nowadays, it became like an echo chamber and shit like that for like weird freaks and shit like that. But like, fucking, I could not blame anybody for being like, yo, I can't be dating. Who am I gonna date? Who am I gonna be with? What the hell is this? No, thank you. You know, and that's why I also seethe about, like, Lauren Southern and shit like that every now and again. Because I see her trying to pretend like it's the guy's fault. And it's like, no. 10 years ago, when you were 19, when you were fresh, when you had low mileage on you, you know, you were like, feminism is awful. It's hurting everybody, and it's hurting our boys. It's hurting our men. Now you got a patina on you because you made bad decisions throughout your entire 20-year-old span. And now you're like, oh, well, guys are actually the bad guys. Andrew Tate is, like, bad. And it's like, yeah, Andrew Tate fucking sucks. How many dudes do you know that are not on Twitter that are running around, like, talking about Andrew Tate, though? None. The only guy that I know two guys who are big Tate heads. One of them's John. The other one is this kid that I used to train with. Right? And even then, I don't think he's big into Andrew Tate anymore. If he is, he doesn't talk about it that much anymore. He's a Turning Point USA guy now, which, yeah. But that aside, like, there's so many, like, regular-ass dudes out there. But, you know, someone like Lauren Southern wants to pretend like it's the guys who are the problem, when in reality, it's literally women like her that are wolves in sheep's clothing, trying to pretend like she's here to help save the discourse and help save the West and this, that, the other thing. And she can't say one bad thing about women. She can't say one bad thing about women. You know? Not even a bad thing. She can't be critical of herself and of women for even a half a second. It's always got to be something the men are doing wrong. You know? That's one thing I like about the discourse when it comes to gender relations, is you got a bunch of dudes who, like, you know, it's the Black Rifle Coffee guys, usually the dudes. They wear the tight t-shirts with the American flag here, right? And they have, like, the grunt hat, you know, like the Marine grunt hat type deal. And, you know, they're the types who are like, hey, man up. What are you, a beta male cuck? They talk like that unironically. And they're the ones who it's like a woman is like cheating with a fucking dude's like brother, you know? And instead of just being like, yo, like, that bitch is heinous. That bitch and the brother are heinous. It's just the brother's heinous. Oh, and also the guy who was getting cheated on, he just wasn't alpha enough, is what it is. He wasn't alpha enough. If he was an alpha, she wouldn't have cheated. And it's like, that ain't how it works. That is not how it works. Do you know how many quote unquote alpha fucking Tom Brady? Tom Brady tries to win a seventh or an eighth? I forget. That's how fucking many. He tries to win like a seventh or an eighth fucking title, an eighth ring, right? An eighth Super Bowl, and fucking Giselle, his washed up model wife. She's not that cute anymore. She was never that cute in the first place, but now she's especially not cute. You know, she passed her prime. Fucking, and we're supposed to sit here and we're supposed to believe that Tom Brady just wasn't alpha enough. That's what it was. You know? Tom Brady was a beta male, dude. It was a beta male cuck loser is what it is. Giselle wouldn't have cheated on me. It's like, yeah, fucking sure, guy. Sure, you know? Anti-Hero Podcast says OG Ghost. I don't know if that's like a podcast that you're telling me to look into or not, but you know, it's interesting. I hope everyone owes Sylvia $150. Fucking is that a joke that I'm not aware of? You know, Tom Brady is a beta male cuck. Man, I love John, dude. I can't wait for him to. I can't wait to see him. That's the thing that I'm sad about is that I'm gonna have to wait another month to see John and like other people again. You know, that's what I'm sad about when it comes to the moving forward of season 2.5. Scott the God, how you living, broski? I'm living, you know, living as well as I can be living, you know, just taking it day by day, trying to do my thing, you know. Guerrero says, what do you think about Usyk having to give up his belt? What is that about? I have no clue. I don't pay attention to boxing. If I had known Usyk versus Fury was going to be on when it was, I would have paid attention. I knew it was coming up, and I was like, all right, maybe I should watch that. I had no idea what day it was on. So, excuse me. So, when it was on last Saturday, I was like, fuck, I had no idea. Oh, excuse me. I have other stuff to do, you know? So that was annoying. But yeah, like I don't know what the deal with him having to give the belt up is. Which belt is it? Is it the one that he just took off of Fury? Or is it one of the other ones that he has? Belt or belts that he took off Fury, you know? Tom Brady should have been like, what up, blood, to his wife, and she wouldn't have cheated on him. Yeah, dude. Fuck him. Yeah, that shit's ridiculous, you know? There's no rhyme or reason to why a lot of women do the things that they do. Even ones that you think are like high value, high class, all this other stuff. There is no rhyme or reason to them. It is crazy the way that they have zero control over themselves. And it's not that they couldn't have it, it's that they never learned to have that control of themselves, and they are not interested in having that control of themselves. Because it's a lot easier to be a nervous wreck and have people cater to you 24/7 than it is to be stoic and have to take no for an answer, right? And that's why there's so many people out there who are so fucked up, is because they've realized that like all they have to do is do a song and dance and freak out and get mad and start breaking shit and, you know, all this other stuff, and somebody will be like, okay, all right, I'll give you whatever you want, as opposed to people who are actually like the closest thing to a good person as you could be, which is like someone who stays calm, makes the right choices in the moment, and if they lose, they lose. They just take the L and they move on, and they try and find a W somewhere else, you know? Fucking but yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to how a lot of women act, you know? It's just what do I want? How can I get it? I don't care who it hurts. And I'm not saying it's all. I'm just saying it's a lot. Right, a lot of them. You know, it's wild. You know, hell, women themselves don't know why they do what they do. Exactly. Like it's kind of a boomerism, right? It's a boomerism. It's like you see this quote over a picture of Al Bundy, which Married with Children is fantastic. If you haven't seen Married with Children, I would highly recommend it. It's a really good show. But like there's a picture of Al Bundy and it says like don't try and understand women understand women and they hate each other. And it's like, well, I mean, as much of a boomerism as it is, it's true, you know. Oh man, That's the thing. It's real easy for people to identify bad behavior in other people, but when it comes to identifying bad behavior in ourselves, we have a hard time with that, because when it comes to ourselves, we always like to believe we had a good reason for doing what we did. You know, we didn't do it because of some kind of moral failing. We didn't do it because we're like not good people or anything like that. We're good people. We just had our back to the wall. That's why I had to steal that Armani belt from the mall. They even sell Armani belts at the mall? Probably not, you know. Fucking is because my back was to the wall and I needed it, so I had to steal it, right? That's what happens in our minds when like, you know, we're forced to confront our own bad behavior. Is like, oh, but she was being rude, and that's why I had to hit her upside the head with a fucking folding chair. You know, he was not giving me the fucking money that I wanted from him, so that's why I had to shoot him in the kneecap, right? Like, that's literally the type of shit that goes on in our heads when we're forced to confront our own bad behavior. But when we look at the bad behavior of other people, it's always, yeah, he did that because he's a piece of shit. He did that because he's bad. You know, he did that because he lacks moral fiber. That's what it is, sir. He lacks moral fiber, antisocial behavior due to a lack of proper socialization when he was a kid, and even that's not an excuse. He's still a piece of shit. Like, that's the type of shit that we do, right? And it's ridiculous, you know. IBF heavyweight in 2 weeks or so. Shit's drawling. I'm wondering why he has to do that, though. I'm wondering why he has to do that, you know? I blame women not having hobbies for most of their behavior. If something doesn't go my way at work or with my wife and kids, I go play my guitar or lift weights and celebrate the win there. I mean, that's the thing, is like there's a piece of it that's like, yeah, if they had some, like, that's how boxing is supposed to help the inner city youth, right? And this is what people don't understand, is the idea behind like boxing or some other sport or whatever, right? Because it's always like people are like, oh, boxing for the inner city youth. Boxing in and of itself is not going to help anybody. What's going to help people is when somebody develops so much of a love for boxing that they decide they don't want to do anything else other than box. So they just do everything that they need to do to get through their day without getting into any kind of trouble or creating problems for themselves, so that they can get to the gym. And because of that, instead of hanging out on the corner with them boys, fucking they go to the gym, right? They ignore that shit. They walk right by, even if it's like a, hey, what's going on, man, type of thing. They're not stopping to hang around because they know what those guys are up to, and they don't want to be associated with that, because if they do, then they're not going to be able to box. So they go and they do it, right? So like, I actually see what you're saying, and I agree. I think one of the big things that not having hobbies will do for you, whether you're a guy or a girl, is it will put you in a situation where you don't understand the value of time, and you don't understand the value of other people's time. And because of that, you're constantly fucking with other people. Not even on purpose, but because you don't have anywhere to be, because you don't have anything to do, you think it's totally fine to like have people like do annoying shit. You know, you don't have anywhere to be or anything to do, so that must mean other people don't have anywhere to be or anything to do. And because of that, it's totally cool to inconvenience somebody and burden them with whatever the hell it is you want to burden them with, right? That's one of the things that having no hobbies will do to you. And there are a lot of women out there with like no hobbies. Like, if you ask them what they're up to, they'll just be like, oh, I watch Netflix. And it's like, oh, all right, well, I was thinking hobbies. Netflix. You know, I take pictures for my OnlyFans. I do reels on TikTok. I do TikToks on TikTok, the social media app. Like, that's their shit, you know, and that's why they're like, they don't understand the value of time, which means they don't understand the value of anything else. You know, they are valueless people because they are like straight up fucking like do nothing bitches and do nothing like dickheads, you know, and it's ridiculous, you know. Oh, excuse me. Some people genuinely have a hard time enjoying any hobby. A lot of these people are junkies or alcoholics. Exactly. Idle hands are the devil's playthings, right? Idle hands are the devil's playthings, and that is 110,000% true. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to check something real quick, though. All right. You know what? Sorry, I'm just I'm looking for a yes, here it is. All right, so I forget the name of this guy, right? His last name was Maddox. I think his name might have been Austin Maddox. He was a former pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. And he ended up getting caught up in a diddler sting, in a P Diddy sting, is what he got caught up in. And we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take a look at the video of him getting arrested, getting arrested. Look at this. Boom. Lowered his shoulder and fucking went in. So yeah, this guy right here was a. We'll watch it again. We'll have a good time. This guy right here was a former pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, but the thing is, like, he was one of those guys who he pitched in like a game or two, and then he got sent back down to the minors. And I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna talk about that kind of thing. You know, one thing I love about the police is that, like, they use an overwhelming amount of force a lot of the time to get whatever they want done, right? And that's what you have to do, right? That's what you have to do. You don't walk over and, like, put a hand on someone's shoulder and go like, okay, it's time to get down. No, you make them, right? That's just the way that it is. It's just funny to me because, like, if I was to do the same thing to somebody who was, like, coming to my door with malicious intent, right? And I don't just mean to diddle children. I mean, like he wanted to do serious harm to me. If I did something similar, there's a chance I could get arrested for that. So that's one thing. I'm watching this and I'm just like, man, this like overweight has-been is like, he's strolling up to a house to knock on the door thinking he's gonna meet like a 14-year-old and he's gonna do he's gonna do that. He isn't up there with like a fucking machete, you know, but they blast through the door and take him down. There was just something about that to me that was kind of funny, you know, and whenever I see something like this, I just immediately think, what would happen if I did that? Meaning, what would happen if I took somebody down who came to my door thinking that there was a fucking like 14-year-old there, or if it was somebody who I had beef with and they came to my door and they were like fucking dude, get out, come out here, right? What would happen if I opened up the door and I just took them the fuck down? You know, chances are they'd be like, you shouldn't open the door. Technically that's assault on your part. Oh, we should take you in. It's you know, it's just funny to me. No women in that group. Actually, this that I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. That looks like a feminine figure, you know, not a dainty figure, but a feminine figure, right? Let's go ahead, right? Yeah, that looks like a woman to me. I don't know about you guys. Unless you're trying to make a joke. Exactly. 10 guys stacked behind the door. It's that there was just something hilarious about that, and everybody's calling that out. This dude right here, right? We're gonna go ahead. This dude was definitely a linebacker, and he was reliving his high school football days. This is exactly why this guy became a fucking cop, is because he thought he was going to make it to the NFL, but it turns out he was only good enough to play like D3, you know? And he's just looking for ways to be able to use what he couldn't use to make it to the NFL, right? But anyway, I'm going to go back because I just remembered I wanted to have something else pulled up, and, you know, oops, I done goofed. I also have to, yes, Austin Maddox. All right, Austin Maddox. All All right, here we are. Austin Maddox, Austin Dean Maddox, born May 13th, 1991. And that's like a crazy thing to me. That these guys who are in Major League Baseball are around my age now. That's something that like when I was a kid, I always like it's weird when you're that age where like that dude you're watching on TV is born like only a few years before you. You know, it's funny when that happens. But we'll start over. Austin Dean Maddox, born May 13th, 1991, a few days after his birthday, is an American former professional baseball pitcher. He had previously played for the Boston Red Sox for Major League Baseball. He batted and threw right hand and is listed at 6'4" and 220 pounds. This guy is 4 inches taller than me. At least in here, he's 4 inches taller than me, but he's 20 pounds younger than me. That's pretty crazy. But early years. Maddox graduated from high school in 2009 as the top catcher in the state of Florida, having batted 544. Wow, in his senior year. That's pretty impressive. Although it's high school ball, you know. So like that a 544 batting average, the average in the major leagues is 300. If you're batting 300, you're batting the average, you know. If you're batting under 300, you're under the average, and that's not good. But it is what it is. He was drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays in the 37th round of the 2009 MLB draft, but he did not sign. Instead, he played college baseball at the University of Florida, where he was teammates with future MLB catcher Mike Zunino. Initially a catcher and infielder, Maddox batted .303 in his 3 seasons with the Gators. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 2010 to 2012. In 2011 and 2012, he made a total of 53 appearances as a pitcher, striking out 78, walking 14 in 82 and 1/3 innings, while compiling a 1.86 ERA. This guy in high school and college was doing pretty fucking great. And it's just crazy. And we're building up to something here, right? We're building up to something here, okay? Excuse me. He was drafted by the Sox in the 3rd round of the 2012 MLB draft and signed with the team in June of 2012. Okay, that's cool. I want to get to... yes, okay, right here. Maddox made his MLB debut on June 17th of 2017, pitching the 7th inning in a Red Sox loss to the Houston Astros. He retired the side without allowing a base runner, which means he struck out the final hitter who was up. He appeared in one more game in June, 1 game in July, and then 10 games during September. He finished the regular season with 13 appearances for the 2017 Red Sox, allowing just 1 earned run in 17 1/3 innings pitched, or a basically .5 ERA. With 14 strikeouts and 2 walks, Maddox was included on Boston's postseason roster for the 2017 American League Division Series. He made 2 one-inning appearances against the Houston Astros, allowing 1 earned run, a 4.5 ERA, with 2 strikeouts and 2 walks as the Red Sox lost to the eventual World Series champions. So this guy, that was his career. That was his MLB career. And it's just crazy to think about, right? It's just crazy to think about how, like, this type of stuff, it goes down. You just go up, and then you hit the top for a little while, and then you just back down. You know, apparently shoulder inflammation during season training, spring training. He began the 2018 year on the disabled list. They actually won the World Series that year, too. And then he was sent on rehab assignments to the AAA Pawtucket Red Sox. The Paw Sox, kid. Out of Pawtucket. Now they're called the Woo Sox, bro. Because they're out of Worcester. But, I don't know. I saw this, and now that I'm reading it out loud, now that I'm sitting here and I'm running through it with you guys, like, maybe it was like a dumb like thing to even talk about here, but it's just crazy how most of major league sports, including the UFC, you know, calling it major league, like most of the top echelon of sports is guys like this, where in the UFC it's dudes, they make it off of like the Contender Series, or they get called up on short notice. You know, they get 2 weeks to prepare for their first fight, or like some other like shit like that. They have 2, maybe 3 fights in the UFC, and then either their contract runs out and there's no renewal, or they just get cut. They just straight up get cut. You know, that's what happened to Chris Mutino. He's kind of making waves on Twitter and Instagram right now because, and if you don't know who Chris Mutino is, he's the guy who, he had the, I believe it was green hair at the time. He gave Sean O'Malley the toughest fight of his career to date. You know, and I mean, Sean was like winning for sure, but you know, he wasn't able to put him away in the way that he was a lot of other guys and things like that, right? But with that said, what was I gonna say? That dude, he gets called up on 2 weeks' notice. He ends up getting he ends up having like a legendary fight with Sean O'Malley, to the point where like people know who he is now and they're waiting for him to get signed to the UFC again. But then like he loses his next one in this weird controversial like this weird controversial stoppage, and then they end up cutting him. Right? Like, that's the type of shit that happens all the time in professional sports, and it's just crazy to think about, you know? This fucking guy, he spent not even a year in the MLB, and then he got sent back down, and then fucking spent the 2019 season on the injured list with Pawtucket. Maddox was released by the Red Sox on October 25th, 2019. On February 20th. On February 28th of 2020, Maddox announced his retirement from professional baseball. This dude, he must have been like, he was like 29 at the time. That's young, you know, but he just didn't have it in him because he ended up with an injury, you know, apparently shoulder inflammation. And when you're a pitcher with shoulder inflammation, that's a no-go, right? That is you ain't doing shit, you know? And it's just crazy to see the way that this kind of stuff happens. And then, like, the next time this dude resurfaces, you wouldn't expect this dude to ever resurface again. The next time he resurfaces is that, you know? He ends up in a sting of that type, and it's just crazy, you know? There's so many people, though, like, and I don't want to make this into a hater talk or anything like that, right? I talked a little bit about haters on Saturday, right? And I don't want to talk more about it again, but I will talk a little bit about it, I guess. There's so many guys out there who they made it to the top, but they were only there for like 20 minutes, right? And this is one of the reasons why I'm not impressed by people who are like, I made it to the UFC, I did this, I did that, right? I trained with a guy who made it to the UFC. I trained with a world champion, right? It's not that making it to the UFC is not an impressive feat in and of itself. It's that if you're going to try and lord that over me or lord that over other people, it's like, all right, well, you made it to the UFC. Congratulations. But what did you do there? What did you do there that's so worthy of bragging? You know, you had 2 fights and you lost them both, so you got kicked back down. You know, congrats. Good for you for making it to the UFC. But why are you lording it over me, right? I had multiple former major leaguers give me pitching lessons when I was a kid. One of them played for the Anaheim Angels. You know, they were known as the Anaheim Angels back then. One of them was for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I forget what the other one was. He might have also been for the Pirates. These are guys who they pitched. They spent a couple seasons each in you know, the major leagues, and baseball was their life. So even though they had to stop trying to make it to the majors, you know, once they got sent back down to AAA, AA, etc., they ended up going to like semi-pro baseball, you know, and that's where we found these guys. Is they were the pitching coaches and pitchers for semi-pro baseball leagues, and you know, they were doing it basically just for the love of the game. They weren't getting paid like a shit ton for it, but they were getting paid enough, and you know, certain things were being taken care of for them, so they were able to just do baseball. They were good with it. They were all right with it. They were cool with it. It is what it is. It is what it is. But there's been multiple people, right? There's been one person in particular, and I'm never gonna mention this guy by name. You know, he doesn't come looking for me. He just kind of sits there in the shadows, talking shit about me, and he doesn't think I see it, but I do. I know what he's saying, you know, and I've said something about it before, you know. He thinks because he trains with like an Olympian, and not even an Olympic champ, just an Olympian, that means he knows as much as I do about combat sports. And he tries to lord my 1-2 amateur MMA record over my head like that means anything, you know? But the fact is, I've had fights, this guy has not. It doesn't matter who he trains with, right? Because do you know how many Olympians there are? Jason Estrada, one of Sam's other trainers, was a fucking Olympian. He made it to the Olympic Games. He was in Athens in, I believe it was 2004, if I remember correctly. Sam isn't running around like, oh, dude, I train with an Olympian. You know, a girl that I was a blue belt and a purple belt with, she won a world championship back in 2017. And then she won a world championship this year. She won worlds as a brown belt this year. I trained with her. There are some things that she showed me that she learned elsewhere that I still do to this day. I don't run around talking about how I trained with a world champ. I've had world champ grapplers train me. I don't brag about that. Ohio State wrestlers, fucking... I've had a lot of high-level guys train me, and I don't fucking brag about that, because at the end of the day, it's not like I am the world champ, right? My understanding of combat sports is leagues ahead of most people. And not just combat sports, but unarmed combat in general is leagues ahead of most people. There's people who are champs who don't understand combat in the way that I do. And it is what it is, right? But there's a lot of people out there who, like, I don't know, like I guess I don't 1,000% know where I'm going with this. You know, it's like I said, I had an idea in my head, and then I realized, oh no, I don't think it's a good place to go. So now I'm trying to make up for it, I guess, right? But there's a lot of people out there who, like, they'll lord that over people. They'll be like, oh hey, yeah. I trained with a former Red Sox pitcher. Imagine that. You're sitting there, you're like, dude, I just had a pitching lesson with a former Red Sox pitcher, dude. That means fucking... This is a Florida accent, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Fucking... Dude, I just had a fucking pitching lesson with a former Red Sox trainer, dude. You're sitting at a bar talking with some guy, and he's like, oh yeah, really, who? Fucking... They turn on the TV... and it shows that footage of Austin Maddox, and you're like, oh, shit, dude, that's him. Fuck, that's him, bro. Like, titles don't mean that much when it comes down to it, right? And it's just funny to see how people will achieve those heights, and then they'll go back into obscurity. And every once in a great while, you have a situation like this, where this guy, they probably only just made his shit, like, today, right? They probably only just made this thing today. Because fucking they threw this in, right? They threw in the legal issues thing, right? Which that happened today. It took them less than like an hour to do this, to throw this in there, right? They probably slapped together everything else like today in anticipation for putting this in there. It would not surprise me one bit, you know? But it's just strange where life takes certain people, you know? And what it comes down to is, I mean, there is a bit of luck involved. Don't get me wrong. There definitely is a little bit of luck involved. But beyond that, there's a certain amount of just, you know, you got to make good choices. You know, you got to make good choices, and you got to be humble, because you know what, you might be Mr. Big Shot Red Sox pitcher, but your shoulder starts hurting, and now all you are is the P. Diddler guy. You know, that's the way that it is, and you know, it's just, I don't want to call it funny, because I don't want to sit here and act like that's like funny. When I say funny, it's weird, you know? And it's annoying when people are like, dude, I trained with an Olympian, and it's like, all right, well, what did he do in the Olympics? You know, he lost and he got knocked out of the tournament in the first round. It's like, oh, wow, fantastic. Really good. Cool. Good for you. You think that means you know as much as I do? No, you don't. You know. And if that guy is watching, I know he's not. I saw you said that you would throw down thousands, quote unquote, a couple thousand to fight me. Yeah, sure. If you want to pay me a couple thousand to get fucked up, I'm fine with that. Go right ahead. You know, we can figure it out. Fly out. Go to Sam's gym. Go to fucking Big Six. I'm sure Jason would get a kick out of that. I don't even know Jason that well, but if I walked in and I was like, "Yo, this dude offered to pay me thousands of dollars to fight him. Is that cool? We'll sign the waiver." I'm sure he'd be like, "Hell yeah, here they are." You know, Jason's cool like that, from what I can gather. But I met Jimmy Carter one time, so I'm running for Congress. Exactly. That's the exact type of shit, right? And what's going on, Greg? I saw you, but I was kind of trying to bring this point home. This point that I wasn't even sure what it was supposed to be home. I got the boxing game on VR today. I know it's not the one that has multiplayer. It's the one that you use. I figured I'd get that because it's nice and cheap, and I could at least get used to using VR for boxing. But whenever I mean, I can look too. We can both look, but whenever we can find a multiplayer one, I'm down to have a boxing stream with you. You know, we can do boxing shit. You know, Jack Torrance talking about somebody. One sec, I'm curious who he is talking about. I have a friend named Clay that is the best fighter I know. He got put in the UFC and did okay, but drank too much and shit the bed. He fights in the little leagues now. They put him in the UFC video game. Clay Collard. Oh, really? Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And that's the thing about the UFC too, is you can be doing really well, and then all of a sudden you're not doing that well, and you get kicked the fuck out. Like there was this one dude. His name was Manny Bermudez, right? You know, he was from my region. He was supposed to be the next best thing at the bantamweight division. He had crazy good jiu-jitsu. His striking was getting there. He had good striking, but it wasn't quite as good as his jiu-jitsu, but it was getting a lot better. He had some highlight reel finishes and shit like that, and you know, they renewed his contract. But the thing is, he had a hard time hitting 135 pounds, and because of that, he missed weight. I believe he won the fight. I'm pretty sure he won the fight. But then his next fight, he ended up missing weight again. They had it at, I believe, 145 pounds. And he just was completely and totally unable to make weight. Because cutting weight, it's something where you will burn yourself out. And you won't be able to cut weight like you used to anymore. If you do it too much, and if the weight cut is too drastic, you can seriously fuck up your ability to do it in the future. And you know, he had reached that point where he had burnt out, and he couldn't make 145, and he ended up losing that next fight. And when he lost that fight, they cut him. And again, this guy was supposed to be like the next big thing at 135 pounds. He was doing really well, and then he just shit the bed, and now nobody remembers him. Right? He actually had another fight after getting cut from the UFC because he was hoping he could, you know, have a quick turnaround and get back in there. Because after all, it's not like he was like doing shitty. He just missed weight and lost a fight. That's, in theory, it should be an easy fix, right? So he ends up having a fight for, I believe it's NEF, which is an organization based out of Maine, and he missed weight for that fight. He won it, but he missed weight. And I think at that point he was like, yo, I can't do this the way that I used to. And I don't believe he's fought since. I checked in on him one day just out of curiosity because, you know, when you see someone like that in your region, you kind of are like, I wonder what that guy's up to every now and again. And I think he was going to have a boxing match, but I don't know if he actually went through with it or not, you know. I think he's just kind of living life. I think he's either a year older than me or he's my age, you know. So he's got time. You know, he's at a point where he's done a lot of the heavy lifting in his career. If he comes back and he has a few good fights, they'll probably put him back in the UFC. It's not like with me where if I wanted to go pro tomorrow, I'd have a lot of heavy lifting to do if I wanted to make the UFC. And that's why I've kind of changed my outlook on fighting, right? You know, but like, he's been away from the game to my knowledge, to my understanding, and it's like again, this is a dude who he was getting posted by the UFC. He was a name that they were going to start pushing, and it happens. It happens. Oh, you found one? You found one, Greg? Nice. Let me know. It looks like Creed. Go ahead and send me the name of it, and I'll look for it, and then we can get it set up for sometime over the next week or two if you're down. If you're not chicken, that is. If you're not chicken, Greg. He's also super humble too in person. I gave him some guitar lessons in exchange for fight lessons. That's pretty cool. Clay ruled. He's actually doing fairly well in PFL. Yeah, that's good. That's good to know he's doing well in PFL. I wish PFL, and I mean Bellator is on its way out, but I wish PFL would be bigger and better than it is now. And what that's going to take is people choosing to go to PFL instead of going to the UFC. It's a situation. It's similar to Patreon, right? Where it's like, if I won't even use that. I won't even use that description or whatever it is. It basically, if PFL is going to get better, more fighters that are interesting need to go to PFL. But the thing is, they don't want to do that. And if more interesting fighters go to PFL, then more people are going to watch PFL, which means that PFL is going to get more money, which means they can pay more money to their people. But that's not happening. You have people like Kayla Harrison, who she went from PFL to the UFC. You have Michael Venom Page, who Bellator is closing down. It's being sunsetted over the next however many years. I think it was like 25 or 26, something like that. I forget. 2025 or 2026, not 25 or 26 years. That'd be quite a long sunset. But, instead of MVP going to PFL, where he could easily win that $1 million, right? He's like, nah, I'll go to the UFC instead. And it's like, well, all right. Guess that's that, He actually tried to go to BKFC, but when he realized that a Taekwondo heavy style is not good for Taekwondo is not good for a boxing match. When he realized that, I think he was like, shit, I think I need to get back into MMA. I think he thought he was going to go into BKFC. He was going to run through Mike Perry because he was like, I've beaten dudes that are like Mike Perry for years. I've done it easily. I'll walk right through them. And then when he didn't, he was like, yeah, this bare knuckle shit ain't for me. Same thing with Luke Rockhold, There's a lot of guys who are high level in the UFC that if they went over to BKFC, they wouldn't have such a good time because it's not the same. It's different, It's still a fight, but it's not the same kind of fight, Sorry, I'm just reading some of these. Baja Candle, what did you delete earlier? I see you deleted something. What are you trying to hide from me, sir? Wait, you said he made it into the minor leagues and he was busted for talking to a minor. Nah, he made it into the major leagues, then he went back down to the minors. Hey-o. Oh, man. I'm gonna get out of here soon, though. I'm gonna give it like another minute or two before I get out of here. I started streaming a lot later than I wanted to. I'm supposed to be streaming Wednesdays. I kind of decided Wednesday would be a good time for me to stream during the week for this summer, but I didn't stream yesterday and I feel bad about it, so I was like, all right, whatever, I'll stream today. I don't know if I'm gonna stream Wednesday night. We'll see. We'll get it all figured out. All right, I'll let you know. But I had a good time tonight. I think this was a really good stream. Yeah, there's that. Greg, I forget if you're in my Discord, but if you ever want to show your streams in my Discord, go ahead. If you're not in my Discord, I'll go ahead and I'll send you the invite link. I don't know if you're still here or not. Yeah, no, you're still here. Oh, geez, okay. I was thinking Friday if things work. Yeah, that might work. I think that'll work. It depends on the day. Yeah, no, I think this Friday works. I'm pretty sure it does anyway. there was something I was supposed to do on the 31st. So as long as Friday is not the 31st, which like I don't believe it is, then we're all good. We're good to go. And even then the 31st thing, I feel like it might fall through. So whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. You get what I'm trying to say. What was I gonna say? The part of the reason I was saying that, Greg, is like anyway, if you want to show your stuff in my Discord, feel free to do that. Feel free to just post it all the time. That's what I do with a lot of the fish and stuff like that. I shill in their Discord service. And I would appreciate if you guys would share my stuff around too. Wherever you feel that it would be good to put it. Wherever you feel it would be good to have it. Where there would be positive reception and people would jump in and stuff like that. Because I want as many people watching these as I possibly can have at the end of the day, right? Especially if me and Greg do go through with a boxing stream for Friday, that would be good. That'd be a lot of fun, and that'd be something I'd have to talk to my thumbnails guy, and I'd have to get a thumbnail made for that. That's gonna be a really fun one. That's gonna be a funny looking one. Excuse me. Anything you want to see in season 2.5? I don't want to go into it with expectations or things that I am like, dude, I want this, because it's going to be something so different from anything else that's out there to have expectations. And I know this. I know you guys, you kind of know it, but you don't know it like completely and totally. What was I going to say? I'm just like, no, but it's going to be something so different that I don't want to go in with expectations or anything like that, because I just want to experience it. I just want to experience what it's going to be. And I think that's probably the best way to go about it, is to just be like, what the hell is this going to be? I'm ready for it. All right. I'm here for it, sis. All right. This is a crossover I can get behind. Spill the tea, sis. No, but jokes aside, like, just experience it. I think that's probably going to be the best thing. And that's the best way to do anything fish tank related, is like, if you go in with any kind of like expectations or anything like that, you're just like, you're going into it the wrong way. What makes fish tank fun, in my opinion, is just going in there and thinking, what the hell is going to happen today? Now, not like physically going in there, but like you hop in and you're watching and you're like, what the hell is going to happen today? What is going on today? What are these freakazoids going to do today, huh? What is that wacky Sensei Scott going to do today, right? If you go in and you're like, oh, I want this, I think that, I see that, I want that, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, because nothing is ever going to happen exactly the way you want it to, and then you also get too attached to certain things and certain people and certain outcomes. That's what I saw with the Cole people. The Cole people still hate my guts because he was mad that I tried to have like fun the way that bros do. Literally, I was trying to be not to bring up the Cole thing again, but like I was trying to be bros with Cole and Shinji. I was trying to. We used to do that in wrestling. The team captain used to be like, "All right, we're gonna do frog hops, and I expect ribbits." And we would all sit there doing frog jumps, and we'd be fucking ribbiting. And if one of us wasn't ribbiting, we'd fuck with them. Because, yeah, it's crazy. It's stupid. But that's how we made the workout, the grueling, awful workout, fun. That's how we kind of injected a little bit of humor into it. Is like, haha, we're all being fucking stupid right now. Haha. It makes it a little bit less fucked up, But there's a lot of people who didn't like me because they were that attached to Cole. And it's like, those people, they just decided they hated the show now. And it's like, dude, like, chill out, man. Don't be so detached to people. Don't be so attached to people and outcomes that you're going to allow it to, like, make you hate someone or something. Because then you're just going to be mad all the time. But anyway, And like, I have nothing against Cole. Like, I hope he's doing well. Like, genuinely, I hope he doesn't have to work construction his entire fucking life. I hope he figures something out where he can just like sit on his ass all day and get paid for it. I would love that for him. I would love that for everybody I know. Like, genuinely, like I want nothing but the best for everybody I know, and that includes passive income, not having to do shit that they don't want to, you know. Because that's what I want for me. I want an income stream where I'm not gonna have to work as hard as I do for what I make now, you know. And it seems like Cole doesn't really like construction that much, so I hope he can not have to do that his entire life. You know, that would suck. I would hate that for him. You know, just so you guys know, I'm not like angry at Cole. I was just explaining like the situation. You know. Baja Candle post Scott's social security number again. That was funny. The old social security trick, huh? Bleach says, appreciate you, Scott. Take care, brother. I'm gonna see you out in Rhode Island soon. Hell yeah, man. Can't wait to see you, dude. I'll be there on the soonish side, you know, especially since there's more time to get ready. I'm gonna head down there and I'm gonna see what they need help with, and I'm gonna try and be of any kind of assistance that I can be. Although I don't know shit about technology, so if they're having technological issues, you know, unless they need me to beat the hell out of a camera, unless they need me to start throwing spinning kicks at cameras, you know, I'm not gonna be much help there. But if they need nails hammered or anything like that, you know, I'm there. I'm good for it, you know. So you will see me. You will see me, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna head out. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate the hell out of you, as always, right? I don't know if I'm gonna stream Wednesday. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. It really depends on a couple of different factors. But we will go ahead and see. We'll see what ends up happening. Yeah, a video came out earlier today. It was actually part of a stream that I did on Saturday. I was talking about Order of Nine Angles and why I am fascinated by them, as well as Charles Carroll and Julius Evola as well. Excuse me. So, you know, feel free to check that out. Other than that, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.